The story goes back to a time long before modern cities existed, when kingdoms were built on trust, loyalty, and honor. In the heart of a flourishing land called Eastvale lived a wise and beloved ruler, King Aldren. His people respected him deeply, for he ruled with justice and kindness. King Aldren had one son, Prince Elias, a young man admired for his intelligence, humility, and courage. Prince Elias had recently turned 18, the age when he would begin preparing to inherit the throne. The king wanted him to learn the art of governance, diplomacy, and leadership. Therefore, he appointed a royal advisor to guide the prince in all matters of wisdom. This advisor's name was Lord Mardon, a man who outwardly seemed gentle, loyal, and intelligent. His face always carried a calm, respectful expression. His speech was polished and thoughtful. No one would ever suspect that behind his soft eyes lay deep jealousy and ambition. For years, Mardon had dreamed of becoming the ruler of Eastvale. He believed he alone was worthy of the throne. But when Prince Elias grew into a wise and capable young man, Mardon's hopes died. A burning envy began to grow in his heart, an envy so strong it clouded his judgment. He began secretly thinking, "If Elias becomes king, I will forever remain an advisor. But if something happens to him, the king will look to me for guidance. I could easily claim the throne for myself." He never spoke these thoughts to anyone. He continued offering respectful bows and gentle smiles, hiding his true intentions behind a mask of loyalty. One evening, during a heavy rainstorm, Mardon was sitting alone in his dimly lit chamber. Drops of water hammered against the window as thunder echoed across the sky. The advisor stared into the flames of a single burning candle, his mind consumed with dark thoughts. As lightning flashed outside, illuminating the room in a burst of white light, an idea he would never have dared consider before. "When the storm ends," he thought, "I will go to the king and request to take full charge of the prince's training. Once Elias is under my complete authority, I will find a way to remove him from my path forever." Late that night, after the rain stopped, Mardon dressed neatly, put on his finest cloak, and walked to the palace. The king, standing by his window and admiring the fresh, rain-washed garden, welcomed him warmly. "Mardon, my loyal friend," King Aldren said kindly. "Come inside. We were just thinking about you." Mardon bowed deeply, fighting hard to hide the excitement rising within him. The king continued, "Elias has grown into a fine young man. I believe it is time for him to step into greater responsibilities." This was exactly what Mardon wanted to hear. He leaned forward respectfully. "Your Majesty, your decision is wise," Mardon replied gently. "The prince will become a great ruler. Allow me to guide him fully. I assure you, I will train him with all my heart." But to Mardon's shock, the king interrupted him with a smile. "We are grateful for your services, dear Mardon. But I have chosen someone else to oversee the next stage of Elias's training. Tomorrow, a renowned scholar, a man of honor and integrity, will arrive from the Western Kingdom to teach the prince." Mardon froze. His smile faded. The king continued, "You have served us well, but you have carried great burdens for many years. I wish to lighten your duties." The king placed a fine ruby ring in Mardon's hand as a token of appreciation. Mardon bowed, but inside him, something broke. His entire plan had collapsed. Someone else, someone honest, would gain the prince's trust. Someone else would stand close to the throne. When Mardon returned home, his heart was filled with rage. That night he could not sleep. Lying awake in the darkness, he whispered to himself, "If I don't act now, I will lose everything." He spent hours thinking of different ways to kill the prince. Then a dangerous idea struck him. The prince went hunting every week, away from guards. Before the hunting trip, Mardon went to a nearby village. He entered the small hut of a local hakim. The man looked up, surprised. "Mardon? What brings you here?" Mardon forced a kind smile. "I need some maram. I am going to the next village. 2 or 3 people were bitten by snakes. I must carry herbs for them." The hakim, unaware of the lie, handed him several jars of herbs. "But be careful," he warned. These herbs lose their strength quickly. Keep them dry. I will, Mardon replied. But the moment he stepped outside, he opened the jars and smirked. I won't be needing these. His real weapon was hidden deep in his coat, a small arrow, its tip coated with a fast-acting poison. Prince Elias was in high spirits that morning. Mardon joined him with a polite bow. Your Highness, shall I accompany you? Elias never doubted him. Of course, Mardon. Your company is always welcome. Hours passed. They crossed the riverbank, climbed a rocky hill, and finally entered a silent part of the jungle, dense, isolated, perfect for an ambush. Prince Elias stepped ahead to observe deer tracks. Mardon stayed behind, slowly loading his poison arrow, breath shaking, eyes burning with greed. This is my moment. He hid behind a large tree trunk, pulled the string of his small hand bow, aimed carefully, and released. The poison arrow struck the prince's arm. Elias gasped, stumbled, and fell to his knees. His face drained of color instantly. Mardon, what have you done? Mardon stepped out of hiding, his voice cold. Something I should have done long ago. Within minutes, Elias's arm began turning blue, the poison spreading rapidly. The prince collapsed fully. His horse panicked and ran back toward the palace. Mardon quickly threw all the herbs into the flowing jungle stream, then he fled. When guards found the unconscious prince and rushed him to the palace, chaos broke out. Queen Seraphina cried out in horror. What happened to my son? The royal Hakim arrived urgently. He examined the prince, and his face fell instantly. The poison is spreading too fast. The herbs required to stop it, we do not have them. Then make them, the queen cried. The Hakim shook his head. It will take 2 to 3 days to prepare them. We do not have that time, the king's voice broke. Then what can we do? The Hakim hesitated, then whispered. There is only one way to save the prince's life. He swallowed hard. We must cut his arm, immediately. The queen staggered backward. No. No. Prince Elias drifted in and out of consciousness, whispering, Do what must be done. And with a breaking heart, the king gave the order. The palace shook with silence. The prince survived. But he lost his arm forever. 4 days Eastvale mourned. The people whispered, A king cannot rule with one arm. He cannot lead us into war. He cannot defend the kingdom. Mardon played the part of a loyal servant perfectly. He pretended to be shocked. And slowly, the council began looking at him differently. Mardon will serve as the new king until a successor is found. Mardon, once a simple advisor, now sat on the throne he had always dreamed of. Late that night, Mardon heard a soft rustle near his window. A wild snake, drawn by the smell of the same poisonous herbs he had used, slithered toward him. Before he could react, it bit him hard. Within minutes his skin turned blue, his breath weakened, and he collapsed on the floor. The poison he created returning to him. Moral of the story. The harm you plan for others eventually returns to you. If you like this story, then please subscribe the channel.